Well, so
Ah,
there's
okay.
none. I mean, I can choose none. The none just means you're not going to have a background, but there's I think you have an option to. You might see like a San
Add-
Francisco bridge there. You have an
No,
option. No, I think you can.
all I have is add image. So I suppose maybe I could go find one.
You can. Yeah, that'll let you pick one from your computer.
Let's see. I don't know that I have any in my computer.
But why is my face like that? Your face is like that.
Well, that's maybe it's picking some of these colors from your outfit somehow. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question.
Right?
Well, actually, I think maybe it depends on the age of the computer too. Because mine,
That could be.
I think mine's like a 2015 MacBook, and I think my wife's is a little bit older, and it will not allow her to do it. She needs a green screen. But I think if you try to add a background, you can kind of quickly figure out if it'll support it or not.
Let's see.
Trisha, my friend, turn on your video. Okay, so it is noon, and what I am doing is I was responding to some teachers, and I saw several people saying that they were like a little stressed with how time consuming it is to give feedback in Google Docs, which is a good reason why I try to avoid giving assignments in Google Docs, because I have to open them and give feedback on them. But I have coded a solution to that, so I'm gonna share that with you. The first thing to do is for everybody to get into my Google Classroom. Let me share my screen. That was the wrong button apparently. Share my screen. And oh geez, why do I always have so many windows open? That's my fault. I have a lot of accounts. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. What does this show? This one? The one I want. Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is just a big learning curve. Okay, I'm going to do the settings cog. I'm going to come down and I'm going to display the code. So the code is OB6W800.
My microphone's on.
Now, the trick is when you're in Zoom, it's automatically in full screen, I think. So you're in full screen mode, and you get out of full screen mode, so it's not the whole thing.
We're not dead, I think.
So that you can use the internet and be. So here's how I'm going to structure this. Is I'm going to get you into the Google Classroom, which you will probably have to use a personal Gmail account, a personal account. Your school one probably won't work. I listed my domain. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an assignment. That's your first step. It's in Google Classroom. I want to create an assignment. What number am I on?
So how do you get out of the full screen?
So on my Mac, I like wiggle my mouse at the top until the little icons show up with a green.
Shows up. Oh, view options.
So on a PC, you should have like in the upper right rectangles. Okay, I'm going to do this number 060, and it's write me a Google Doc. Click Add, Create, and make a Google Doc. And type some paragraphs. I don't really care what you put. Topic. I'm going to create a new topic. And that topic is Sunday, March 22nd. How did that happen? And assign. So I cannot demonstrate this unless I have some Google Docs to demonstrate it with. So the premise is that you've assigned students to use a Google text document. So not slides, not sheets. I got stuff for those. That's not what we're talking about today. Just a Google Doc. So I need people to do that right now. Let's just create a Google Doc, type on it so it has some paragraphs. You don't have to type anything good. I'm not going to really read it. Copy.
What is? Sorry, what's the join?
Yes, the join code. WHOO. Let me put that in the chat. More chat.
Maybe 6. Ooh.
Okay, so you have to do number 60, which is the one I just posted.
What's the code?
Go back, it's OB6WHOO. And I'm doing like all these webinars basically on the fly as my voice will hold out. So I haven't even done them for a couple of days because I just don't have any voice. And I've been trying to make some videos like YouTube. But I'm really just trying to pay attention. Like, where do I see people like, we need this? I'm gonna throw in some stuff out.
So, Sharon, is yours letting you in?
It probably won't with your school email.
I had to use my personal.
No, I'm using my personal, but it won't let me type SO. Isn't that weird?
So if you have like an AOL or a Hotmail or something that's not Gmail, you just need to make sure it's associated with a Google account. So what I'll do is I just do a Google search for Google account without Gmail. Right, so I look up Google account without Gmail. So I come down, find it, create a Google account. And there's this big blue button to create a Google account. So I'll just link that down in the chat in case anyone needs it. So it says here, use current email address instead. So that's the trick, is you put your first and last name, and where it says username, don't do that. You switch it to use my current email address. So then you can put your Hotmail or your AOL. And once you do that, now it doesn't have Gmail, but it's got Google Docs and Drive. So then you should be able to join the classroom with whatever email you have. So I do some work with a Microsoft school, and I'm getting used to the Microsoft tools. Obviously, everyone in the whole world knows I'm super googly. And sometimes I just need check boxes in a spreadsheet. Like, I cannot cope without them. So I took my email and I put it, create a Google account. And so now I can do Google Docs with my school email, and I can do Microsoft 365. So like, I'm in a super good place. Teams meetings is like amazing. So I'm using that. And the join code is OB6WHOO. And the first many minutes of this webinar is going to be super boring, because what you are doing is you are finding number 060. And you're going to open that assignment. And in the upper right, there should be a bubble that says add create. And you're going to add a Google Doc. You could add one you already have, or create a Google Doc. Just has to have some text in it. And I just need that because I'm going to demonstrate how I give feedback on your Google Docs. So once you've made it, you can come back to the Zoom. What I need is when I give feedback super fast to 150. Yeah, that's how I invented it. Ben's an English teacher, and he's all, I told him I would help him do some grading. And I found out he told them to write a paragraph in a Google Doc. You've got to open 140 Google Docs. That is like literally my nightmare.
Yeah, it takes forever.
Yeah. What'd you say?
It takes forever.
Just to open them. Forget the feedback part. Okay, I know I said I was going to help you, but I ain't doing that. So I spent 20 minutes in my kitchen and I coded alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph. We'll post that right now. I'm going to create a material.
Yeah, no.
061. You don't need that right now. Later. So this is what I'm going to demonstrate to you is number 61. So what you're doing is number 60. I got 5 people. That's good. And you know what? I might have more than 5 Google Docs. So when I open up an assignment, I click on, there's a folder icon right underneath the counts, and I can see all your Google Docs, whether or not you have turned it in. So right now, it looks like I've got a decent number, so that's good, okay? So just really quickly, for anybody who still needs the code. Oh, someone put a chat. Yeah, Joanna, my level up game. So in the chat, Joanna is asking if I could do a webinar on my level up game. I pretty much have coded it for myself. So trying to like navigate how to do it. Yeah, so one of the things I'm trying to do, Joanna, is make the navigation less crazy. And I've done some improvements on that, but basically what my level up game lets you do is 2 things. First of all, it's designed to create a level up game in your Google Classroom. So as students turn in work, they level up like a game. And then that's one part. And then the other part is it just lets you monitor assignments and it auto scores. So I've now got it set up where you're like, do you want the game part or just like the assignments part? And so that's working, but I'm trying to make it even more intuitive. Who's got time? But you're right, you need to have a, okay. So you're getting in the Google Classroom. You are finding number 60060, and you're clicking the add create button to either add a Google Doc you already have or create a Google Doc and type me some paragraphs. Yeah, Joanna, I'm excited to hear that you're playing with it. So what we'll need to do is, yeah, set up something for people who want to do it. Because just the auto scoring by itself is a huge time saver. Because think like this, like it's fine. I like to give feedback, but it's so tedious with so much clicking. And so it's just like giving every person a score drives me nuts. Like, why doesn't it like have a default? Everyone has full credit in Google Classroom, and then I can just edit the couple I need to edit. So I have that happening if you're in my tips and tricks Google Classroom Go Slow thing that I'm doing right now. You turn it in. Well, it just depends on how many people there are and how many assignments there are because it does it on a schedule. So it just kind of looks up if anyone's turned in any work and gives them credit. It's awesome. So you might notice you're like, wow, she gave me credit at 2 a.m. No, I didn't. I coded that. And it's still up at the top at the turned in. So I still have to look at it and return it, but I don't have to type the number of points. And that saves me so much time. All right, cool. So we are ready to do this, it looks like. So the first step in doing alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph, you're now watching me. So if you want to just come back, we're in straight up watch me mode now that you made the Google Doc. Your first step is to create an assignment that says, hey guys, do a Google Doc. They have to all be in a folder in Google Drive. So if you don't use Google Classroom, then you got to figure out how to get all their documents into a folder. You don't have to use Classroom, but you have to have them in a folder. So that is that. So then what you're going to do, I highly recommend you use Google Keep, K-E-E-P. Put that in the chat. Keep.google.com. And what you want to do is you can actually, it's Post-it notes. You can sort and filter by color. So I think you should have a color for professional development. So anytime you go to anyone's session at a conference or they bring in a speaker to your school, you use orange. And they're like, okay, they gave me this link, like go to this link and this is where all my resources are. If they gave me paper, there is no chance I will ever keep this more than 2 seconds. Like, that will not make it to my car, just not going to. So what I do is I open up Google Keep and I take a picture of their piece of paper into a Google Keep note, and then I make the note orange. And all my PD notes are orange. So my PD note for you is you're going to go to keep.google.com and you're going to make it orange or whatever your color is. I don't care. And you're going to type in alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph because you're going to want that later. Pull it up. Maybe you just have an Alice color. Just saying, whatever. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to click on alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph, and I make a copy. And if you're wondering, I cannot submit this to Google to be part of the add-on store. And the reason is because they really super tightly regulate Google Drive. And the second I code Drive app, I have to basically pay them $15,000 to review my app. And there's no guarantee they'll approve it because they basically don't want you using Drive app, which I get that because you're going to see this in 1 second. But then at the same time, I don't get that. Like, help me out here, people. Give me a way to make this feasible, because right now it's such a large gap between what I'm doing and what I need. So I'll show you. So I go to alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph. And by the way, you can use this exact same spreadsheet all year if you save it, but I recommend doing it per assignment. So you just, oh, I have a new assignment where I assigned Google Docs. Awesome, alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph. And then I'm going to go to the add-on menu and it says pull the paragraph. It takes maybe a full minute for that to show up in the add-on menu. It's not, you notice it's at the bottom, it's not alphabetical because it's not in the add-on store. If you go to get add-ons, pull the paragraph is not there. And again, I'm going to show you why right now, because I'm going to do sidebar. Continue. And it says choose an account. No, I don't want that account. No. Okay, and then Alice is now. Make sure that the account that you are using is the one you're authorizing. Otherwise, you'll be like, this doesn't work. That's right, because you authorized it for a different person than the one using it right now. What? Yes, no, that's right. Just all like super zoomed in, so I freaked out for a second. It's gonna like give you this freaky message. And what it says is, this app isn't verified. That's right. I did not send it to Google. That is accurate. Nobody at Google has looked at my code, because if I ask them to look at my code, they'll ask me for $15,000. And I will want to punch myself because the whole process is painful. I've gotten 2 add-ons approved.
Oh.
I literally cried for 20 minutes. It took me 5 years to get one of them approved. Like, and it finally got approved. I cried for 20 minutes. It's just unpleasant. So like all my stuff I code, you're just gonna be okay with this big warning button. You just like, well, Alice made it. She's not evil. So she literally doesn't want my stuff in my Google Drive. I have enough stuff. So it says, this app has not been verified. Yep, that's true. And it says, look how small these words are. Only proceed if you know and trust the developer. That's me. Do you trust me? No? Then don't do it. Otherwise, it says if you trust them, I did it. Me. So click on advanced. And then they give you more words of doom, like no for reals. No one at Google has reviewed this code. Yeah, whatever. And then you click on unsafe. Yeah. Do that. It's safe. I coded it myself. And then, okay, so look here. It says Alice can see and download all of your Google Drive files. It feels scary. It's totally false. First of all, remember how you had to make a copy? So who's the owner of the code? You.
Right.
So you are giving yourself permission to read. You are giving yourself permission to see and download all of your own Google Drive files because you made a copy. You own the code. Technically, you're the developer. So all these scary messages, you're like, well, I have access to that stuff anyway. Sounds good. All right, I know that was really long, but I really can't take any more emails or tweets. Alice, it says you're going to delete everything in my drive. I'm really not. Why is it making me do this again? What account am I in? I'm in, oh. You see this? You should never do this. The only reason I did that was because the Zoom was wanting to connect to my YouTube. Okay, I'm going to start over. I did exactly what I said not to do. AliceKeeler.com/ pull the paragraph. And I need to make sure, let me make a copy. It said better be under this account. No, this is why things don't work. Never do this. Where it has 2 accounts, that is the devil. Don't do it. I want to sign in as this account, not the one where I do YouTube. Trying to breathe, just trying to breathe. Okay, side lesson, everybody. Side lesson. When you are in a document, I'm gonna say I was signed out. I don't want to be in that one. Okay. AliceKeeler.com/ here, hold the paragraph.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna make a copy. I'm gonna look in the
Okay.
corner and make sure it's the account I want to use. School account, not person. There we go. School account. You see up here in my Chrome, the little icon that's exactly the same as the icon of me and Joe Bowler, because I'm a crazy stalker. This is her book. No one loves Joe Bowler more than me. So
Love her.
I click, dang it. So I click on the icon. If it has 2 accounts, if it's showing 2 accounts, that is literally bad. And heaven forbid it shows like 7. It should show one account. If it does not show 1 account, sign out and get rid of all of them. So there's only one. Sneeze. And then what you want to do is go a little higher. It's coming, it wants to sneeze. So you go a little higher where you're in the Chrome. And at the bottom, you can add people. I have a lot of Google accounts. At the bottom, you can add people. And this makes it really fast and easy to switch profiles, like school account, personal account. But that way, you only have 1 account when you click on the little document, because you see firsthand why it doesn't work. Add-ons, add-ons, pull the paragraph, sidebar, authorize it. Yes, for that account. For myself, allow. Okay. Woo. All right, I'm going to come back to my Google Classroom. On number 60, I'm going to click the number turned in. I have created an assignment in Google Classroom asking you to have a Google text document. I want to return, let's return it without a score. Return, I am returning without a score so I can leave you feedback. Stay tuned, because here's what's going to happen. It's going to grab all those Google Docs. Who's the owner of that document right now? Me. As the teacher, when they turn in, I become the owner. So it's going to make a list and say, this is Alice's document. This is Alice's document. This is Alice's document. This is Alice's document. Super unhelpful. So you want to make sure you return it first so that they're the owners. Okay, cool. Then over in my spreadsheet on the sidebar, it says choose a folder. Okay, cool. Choose a folder. Select a folder. Single click, y'all. Single click. I am selecting the folder, not all this stuff in the folder. Now I know better. I quoted this. How often do you think I double click on the folder out of habit? And I'm like, there's nothing in here. That's right, because it's looking for folders. So you select the folder, select. Perfect. Now look at this. I'm selecting. I'm going to get rid of this sidebar. So you'll notice it now puts everybody's email, which I'm going to hide. It puts everybody's email on the left side. And it puts their name. And notice it specifically said there. right, hold on. Somebody's talking in the background. If we can just real quick. Here we go. All right. We all have families. I understand. This one. So if you're the owner, it puts your name on there. So and that happens to me all the time. I'm like, oh, right. I need to return it first. So I'm the owner. And then notice as I go to the right, it shows me the link to their Google Doc. So if I were to click on that, it's going to open and I can see what she put. But the whole point here is I don't want to open it. I don't want to. So I'm going to go to the right. Let me zoom out. And it gives me the title of the document and the file ID. I need that. Don't delete it or mess with it. My code is going to read that file ID. I need that. But, you know, like, really, do you need these 3 columns? No, don't delete them. Just right click, hide the columns. That way I'm only looking at what they typed. So I go to the right. She says, yay. The number of novel coronavirus cases, the number of US cases, the respiratory virus, okay? And then she's got a blank paragraph. And then this gray box says, stop using the right arrow, Alice. There's nothing else. Okay. Thank you, Christine. This information on the virus. Enter. Now I'm at Kristen. Right arrow. The assignment is to write a paragraph in Google Docs. Yes. Right arrow. Then she has a blank paragraph. She has nothing else. Kristen. The assignment was to make a Google Doc with multiple paragraphs. Please add more. Enter. Lisa. Now I'm just using the right arrow. So now, hey y'all, Lisa Reeves here from Canada. What? I'm looking to learn lots here. Tomorrow we are not starting back at school, thank goodness. Honestly, what would be the worst thing to happen if we all just stayed healthy for 3 months? Just saying. She's going to use her Google Classroom to run meet and greets with her students. Perfect. She might use Zoom. We can have a whole conversation about that later, Lisa. And hope these short paragraphs help. They do. And then once I hit the gray box, stop hitting the right arrow. Okay, so then I do, Lisa. And I feel like it's super important when I give feedback to students. I like to type their name. Even if I'm copying and pasting the same note to everybody, I'll go in and edit and put their name in there. So Lisa, this is super helpful. What is one tip you would give teachers for remote learning? Enter. Now I'm at Sharon, right arrow. She did not spell my name correctly. All right, she thinks that I am a Spiro. I'm just making jokes. I'm making jokes. You ordered Tex-Mex without me? And she is my son's biggest fan who has been sick this week. So Sharon, W is feeling better, but clearly not super better since he didn't want to video chat. Sharon called him last night to say hi. He's like, no, I'm not getting on video. You guys have to realize I'm an extrovert. Hence, I'm like, oh, I'll get on a video chat and show you guys how to do this, pull the paragraph. I'm home alone. I'm not, I got all my kids, but you think I'm an extrovert? No. My son makes me look quiet. What is your favorite Tex-Mex? Now I like to make it actionable feedback because if I leave them feedback, they don't have to do something with it. I might as well drink coffee and not waste my time. Right arrow, that document is blank. This is blank. Expect that. They accidentally make more than one document. You know, get over it. Enter. Lisa Peacock, paragraph 1. It's a sunny day. Oh my gosh, the weather is so nice. The weather is so nice, Lisa, in California, and I'm stuck inside. Just ignore the typos. Now, I'm only saying that out loud for my friend Melody McAllister, who lives in Alaska. Oh, she should say all day is Alice is up. I text her pictures of me outside without a jacket. What a brat I am. All right, so she's got her 3 paragraphs. Cool. Paul, right arrow, has got me some stuff on the coronavirus. Paul, you are a plagiarizer. How about putting your own info in there? I hope no one has sensitive feelings as we're having a fun time together. Wait, Paul. Listen to me. All right, Joanna is giving me some app recommendations. Joanna, I have an Android. Update this list for Google Play Store. Cool. Anna gave me a document. Okay. Or Anne, sorry. Anne, this is very helpful, but it is only 1 paragraph. Give me more. Now I'm making jokes and talking to you guys while I did that, but honestly, how long would it take me with a little practice to
Right.
on the first person, right arrow, right arrow, right arrow, right arrow, feedback, comment, next person, right arrow, right arrow, right arrow, right arrow, feedback, comment. And by the way, it's usually the same. You need a sensory detail. You need a sensory detail. You need a sensory detail. So I end up copying and pasting the same feedback comment over and over again. So that alone saves me a ton of time. Now, if I needed to open this up, I'm like, Joanna, what the heck you got going on here, girl? I can go back to column D. I can open it if I need to. Yep. Thought maybe she would have given me a Bitmoji or something, but no. I'll put my own Bitmoji on there. This is what's cool about Classroom is it immediately gives me edit access so that I can dump my Bitmojis on kids' documents. That's pretty much all I live for. Putting Bitmojis. Someone said chat. What are we saying in the chat? Yes, use their name. Yeah, this particular code, Kristen, is only for Google Docs. I have one for slides called alicekeeler.com/first slide, which pretty much does the same thing, but it only pulls the text off of the first slide, but it allows you to push slides to their slides.
Okay.
So that's a whole different webinar. Okay. So I try not to open their Google Docs at all, but sometimes I have to, and I have the link if I need it. So then I'm going to go back to the add-on menu. I'm going to go back to pull the paragraph. I'm going to go back to sidebar, even though all the choices are there and I don't actually need the sidebar, but I'm going to do it. So once I have given everybody feedback, I'm going to click this button that says send feedback. Would you like the feedback at the top of the document? What a great question. Okay, so here's what it's going to do. It's going to take that paragraph. I just typed them. You want it at the top or the bottom? Here's kind of my rule of thumb. Is it autopsy feedback or formative feedback? If it's autopsy feedback, I want it at the top because that's the first thing they'll see. If I'm relying on them scrolling down to the bottom to see my feedback, I'm toast. But if I give actionable feedback, I want it at the bottom so it's not in the way. Here's the deal. If it's actionable feedback, I'm going to pull the paragraph a second time. Which what it's going to do is it's going to put it right in the document. It's not a comment on the side. It puts it right in the document. So guess what? My feedback becomes a paragraph. And then I pull my own feedback, which I don't want to see first. So since I went through and gave y'all actionable feedback, I'm going to say, no, do not put it at the top. It's going to put it at the bottom. Okay, we're going to have a little pause right now. You're going to go find your Google Doc. All right, go open your Google Doc, the one you made for me. If you didn't make me a Google Doc, then you can just sit here and look at my green screen. And in fact, I'm going to do on a stop share and you can enjoy my Joe Bowler book that I have right here. And I'll just do some shameless self-promotion. My new Google Classroom book is coming out for pre-order tomorrow. And if you pre-order, we're going to send you a Google Doc with where you can't download it and stuff and give you the copy edit version. So it won't be as good as the book, but it'll be good enough. to get you started. And then it should come out in 7 to 10 days on Amazon. So then we'll send you the book. And once you have the book, we're shutting down the Google Doc, but just trying to get it out there to you now. So anyway, shameless self-promotion. I have a new book. I put a lot of time into it. Feels good to finally be done. Okay, everybody see their Google Doc? All, thank you. Appreciate the thumbs up. Kristen, did you see the Google Doc?
It did.
It says you need to request access. That doesn't make sense. I returned it to you.
Well, that's what I thought. Look.
Kristen, I know you have account conflict going on.
That's what was gonna be an account.
If you click on your little picture, like I showed you at the beginning,
Yeah.
more than one account, does.
No.
It does.
No, I have your feedback though.
Okay, so where's the request access?
Up at the top, it says request edit access. I can only view this document. To make changes, ask the owner for edit access
Right. Have you turned it in?
after the fact.
That happens in Google Classroom if you turn in and I haven't returned. So you must have turned it in after I returned it to everybody.
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Super. You see why I need you, Kristen? I need a little video.
I know, see?
Thumbs up. You can ask me a question. I'm not talking to myself. I can see in the chat. This is why I'm not making a YouTube video. Honestly, I can't even make a YouTube video for this particular activity because I literally need some participation. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to screen sharing. This one, share.
I'm that one student.
I love that one student. You
No, I'm number 2 student. I have the same thing.
Now, what are the odds after I put feedback on a student's document, they're actually going to go open it and look at it? Don't be naive. Don't be naive. So I got email feedback. It will email it to the email address that's in column A. So if it's my email address, guess where the feedback's going to be emailed to?
Yeah.
That's return it first. But look at it, one click, email feedback. Okay, go check your email, y'all. Go check your email. It sent you an email that had the feedback right in the email. It didn't say open the document. No. I sent it to you. No document opening required. And it gave you the link to the document so you can open it without going back to Google Classroom. And this helps nobody whose school has turned off email for students. That's a separate rant. Turn on email for students. At least restrict it to the domain. Okay, I'll just end that rant there because I can't solve problems I can't solve. So you got the email? Has your feedback?
Got it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now what you're going to do, we're just going to take a pause. I'm going to take it off the screen sharing. You're going to update your Google Doc. If you update it with a Bitmoji, I will never see it because I'm not opening your Google Doc. That's the whole point of this. The whole point here is I'm going to give you feedback by reading your text. So if you will just delete everything you had, leave my note, type something new, or just do something new. Just type something new. I'm going to wait. So I have sent you feedback. It was not autopsy feedback. It's formative feedback. So I'm expecting that I'm going to have to look at it again to see if you've updated your responses. So I'm chillaxing. I'm waiting for you to do that. Thanks, Lisa. Hey, did everybody update their Google Doc?
I'm clicking on the document. Maybe just maybe we already went over this. It says request edit access, but I'm using all the same accounts.
All right. Hold on. I'll go return for those of
Yeah,
you.
mine still says that.
You could go into Google Classroom and here we go. Turned in, returning without a score. Okay, you can always unsubmit, y'all. You can always unsubmit. I'm going to tell you right now, any student who clicks request access, I am not reading those emails. I get enough emails as it is. I'm going to teach students, if you need access to your own document again, click unsubmit. Please. I can only do so much, and tech support is just not on my list. I am more than willing to invest the time up front with students to teach them how to do things themselves. Yeah, it takes up class time, but in the long run, they're not asking me to help them with that. And I'm happier. And they're more independent adults someday. How I roll it. Okay, we got it? I'm gonna go back to my screen share. There, on my thing here. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to add-ons. I'm gonna go to pull the paragraph. I'm gonna go to the sidebar. Now notice I have two buttons. This might be really, really small and I apologize. One button says choose a folder. The other button says reuse the same folder. Yeah, I want that one. If you choose a folder, it lets you pick a new folder. So like I said, you could use the same spreadsheet all year, but I really do think you can make one per assignment. So I'm gonna reuse the previous folder. This is me opening Google Docs. It's amazing. Okay. There we go. And I'm gonna go to the, I'm gonna hide these columns. I don't wanna hide, right click, hide. They're nice to have, but I don't want them right now. So now Sharon says, dear Mrs. Keeler, she spelled my name correctly this time. Sharon, thank you for spelling my name correctly. Just for the record, I think I'm funny. This is a new version of my assignment. Thank you, Sharon. All right, what's wrong with this one?
Oh,
It says Alice Keeler, you know, it says PD Alice Keeler because it's not returned. So that happens to me all the time. I do a quick check and I'm like, dang it. So I'm gonna go back to the assignment. Stop turning this in, you guys. Don't turn it in. I'll let you know. The truth is, I don't need you to turn it in. I have your work whether or not you click the turn in button. So when I sit down to go through all the papers and give feedback, I can give you a score whether or not you hit turned in. Or just don't. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, so now I'm just going to do it again. Pull the paragraph, go to the sidebar, reuse the previous folder. See, like, it's not even like that big of a deal. Just reuse the folder. Oh, look at that. It has other people's names besides mine. I appreciate your so diligently wanting to turn it in though. All right, and I'm gonna hide the 3 columns just because I don't need them. Hiding is good. Dear Miss Keeler. Oh, now she loves nachos. Nachos are the best, Sharon. With carnitas from my Instant Pot. AliceKeeler.com/carnitas. Okay, right? Paul, this guy's doing this one more time. He's got markers on the floor and kids running around. All this is so much nicer than viruses. Nice job. Kristen, the assignment is to write a paragraph. So there's the first that was turned in. It's going to be interesting. And so do you see here where now it says instructor's feedback? Because remember I put it at the bottom. Is this one at the top? No, put it at the bottom. Thanks for updating this, Kristen. Okay, next one, right arrow. Reading on the web is different than reading on a page. Oh my gosh, yes. Keep it short. Use immersive reader. Okay, and if I keep going to the right, you see it says instructor's feedback, and there's the feedback I gave her the first time. And then now I have other Lisa. Paragraph 1's a sunny day. Type something new, okay? Here we go. Thanks for something new. Sorry for the really small font, but it's actually harder. I need you to see that there's multiple columns. So I have to pick it. Right click. This is a document. I do try to make them fun, and at least I think I'm funny. If you're offended, you're wrong. I'm just funny. I'm like Andrew Dice Clay. All right. And you are so welcome, Sharon. Still, Sharon's a slacker. We're a lacker. Other Sharon. Did you just make a whole new document, Sharon? Sharon, you're on document number 3. This so does not bother me. Like, at least I didn't open 3 of her documents. Okay, Christine, she's got more stuff about the virus. I don't think she updated it. Maybe she, no, the EA was there before. Christine, where are the updates? Joanna, do we have anything about Android on here? No. Joanna, where's my Android? Okay, that's all of them. Cool. So I'm going to pull the paragraph. I'm going to send feedback. And this time it's autopsy feedback, right? Because I've already given you formative feedback. And I said, no, don't put that at the top. Put the formative feedback at the bottom. So it says, do I want the feedback at the top? Yes. This is my autopsy feedback. Yes, put it at the top. Or look at your Google Docs. And then I'm going to go in to Google Classroom and I can just give you a score. Whether or not you turned it in. Turn. Look at that. Okay. Questions. Anybody? No? All right, so the directions is that you keep alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph in a Google Keep note or someplace that you can find it easily. And you assign a Google Doc into Google Classroom preferably, or you figure out how to get everyone's Google Docs into a folder in Drive. That's really all it needs to be. Yeah, Margaret, I could, in theory, do the grading from the spreadsheet, but here's the deal when you code it. I cannot use code to edit assignments that were not made with code. So like when I go to quizzes and I say, push this to Classroom, then when the kid fills out the quiz, they have edit access to be able to update the scores from quizzes into my Classroom, but they only have authority to give grades for that one assignment that's from quizzes. They can't grade my other ones. Wouldn't that be nice? So what I would have to do is update the whole thing to say, create a Word document assignment, post it as a draft. And then if you create the assignment from the spreadsheet, you could grade the assignment from the spreadsheet, but I'd have to go in and redo it. And I'm not really convinced right now that a lot of people would do that because it would take some like training for you to understand that, because otherwise they'll try to grade it when they made the assignment. If you make the assignment in Classroom, I cannot code grading it for you. I just can't. It's just, which makes sense, right? I don't want quizzes to have access to all my stuff, just the one that I authorized them to. So anyway, it would just take for me to have time to go in and update the code, probably as a backdoor secret for people who knew about it, like an Easter egg. No drawings, no equations, no Bitmojis, no pictures. It is text only.
Text only.
It's still helpful.
Yeah.
So when I see that the student hasn't written a lot, I'm like, okay. So that's when I click on the link. I'm like, they stuck a picture, which, everything's digital when you can take a picture of it. But it reduces the number that I have to open for sure.
Right.
Did you say that you can see the comments whether or not they turn it in?
It is, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a Google Doc. So we have access to the Google Doc no matter, as a teacher, I have access to your Google Doc no matter your status. Like,
So as soon as they create a document and they just attach it, then they can type something in. They don't even need to hit the turn in button. You can see everything still.
Yeah. Well, with the, yeah. Like that's the paradigm shift of using Google Apps and even Microsoft Teams is the second a document is, I know you said attached, Paul, but it's really just from Drive. When there's a document in the student's assignment, what Classroom does is changes the sharing permissions so that you have permission to the document and I have permission to the document, and that happens instantly. It does not happen on Turn-In. So let's say you have a screenshot and you're like, Keeler, look, I did work today. You click Add Create the screenshot. The second it finishes loading, which, you know, the internet, that could take a while. The second it finishes loading, I can see it. You don't have to click Turn-In. I can see it. So the Turn-In button is really more convenience. Like, I'm done. Can you look at this? And as a teacher, help me direct who I need to focus on. But it doesn't give me permissions. It doesn't give me access. I have it anyway. So anything I'm doing that's a long-term document, like I want the kids to go back and forth. They're going to turn it in, I hope. But we all know the chunky kids who will never turn it in. You know what? My husband is a saint of a human being. Every morning he wakes up at 4 a.m. and goes and makes me coffee and brings it to me. And yet he will not shut the mirror in the bathroom. He shaves and he leaves the mirror door open every single day. And it doesn't matter how mad I'm like, can't you just shut the mirror? You know, and he's a really good person, so he's not doing it to tick me off, but for some reason he just forgets like every day. So if my saint of a human being husband can't shut the mirror, you think your kids who are by definition immature are going to remember to click the Turn-In button? You have it anyway. You have it anyway. So just throwing that out there. Okay, so right, on a long-term assignment, what I'll ask them to do, go ahead, they have their Google Doc, and then they click the X in Classroom to remove the link from Classroom. And you're like, wait, what? It's not attached. It never was. All that is the link. So the Google Doc is still in the folder. I still have access to it. They still have access to it. Now they're going to go find it in Google Drive since it's not linked in Classroom anymore. But if it's the same document they're editing over and over again, I just tell them, go to Drive, find number 60, make edits on it. And that way we can return, turn in, and not have to worry about the permissions switching. So that's just a little tip. Okay, last chance. Wait, does pull the paragraph work the same if I create a doc for them to type into? Yeah, exactly. If you do make a copy for every student, then so long as it's a Google Doc. Now, if you want to do it with slides, it's literally the same code. I just went into the code and where it said document app, I changed it to slides app. And I did a couple other little minor things, but it's literally, I took the pull the paragraph code and adapted it to slides. So if you do alicekeeler.com/first slide, alicekeeler.com/first slide, which you know I have blog posts on pull the paragraph, and I have blog posts on first slide with screenshots, videos, the whole bit on alicekeeler.com. So if you want to assign them Google Slides, try my first slide. It does exactly this, except it only pulls the text off of the first slide. So that's how you'd like to do an ongoing journal. Oh, and it pushes feedback back to their slide, of course, because it's the same. All right, anybody else? And Sharon's being super kind to me to give a link to my books on Amazon. I do have several books. Now, someone said to me one time, Alice, this book about math is not really a book about math. It's 80% just how to teach with, digital tools. So there you go. Good teaching. It's good teaching. Oh, and Joe Bowler signed my book. It's a drinking game. How often does Alice say Joe Bowler? All right. Thanks, you guys. I hope that was helpful. So now your job is to go try it. But you need a folder with Google Docs in them. So one of my ways that I try it out before I have students, I just go into Google Drive, I create a folder, I create a bunch of Google Docs. This takes me many minutes. I create a bunch of Google Docs, and then I copy and paste some stuff off the internet into them. And then I do the alicekeeler.com/pull the paragraph where I choose that folder that I made. And I just kind of practice seeing what it looks like to give feedback, push it back, do it again to practice yourself. Oh, Lisa wants me to discuss Zoom versus Meet. Now, Google Meet has recently announced that they've solved these problems where kids can mute each other, kick the teacher out, all of those things. So that'll make it better. But I use Google Hangouts all of the time, and it is my opinion that Zoom's a higher quality. Just the video, like the video image, the sound is a better quality. Look at this. I'm going to share my screen. Whiteboard. Meet doesn't have that. I think you can all draw on this. Can you draw on this? At least the panelists. I have this in webinar. I think right now only Paul and Kristen and Sharon can draw on this. Can you draw on it?
No.
No. Okay. So I'm gonna click here on whiteboard.
Yeah.
How do I dang it, have the hiccups. How do I give permissions? I gotta pretend, I don't know. Here's the thing, you guys. I'm using the webinar version. So there's the free version that does not record. And then there's the pro version, which is I think I paid $15 a month. And that lets me record. And then there is add-ons where they'll take more of your money. So an add-on for extra money is to make webinar. So what webinar lets me do is I'm right now live broadcasting to YouTube. I cannot live broadcast to YouTube using the pro version. And you'll notice that it put everybody in as like attendees. So I don't have 5,000 people like in the same, because you can have 100 people. So the ones that are on video who I'm interacting with are just the people I upgraded to panelists. But that the only reason it is like that is because I'm in webinar, which is another $40 a month. Shout out to Tim Brzezinski who paid that for me. Thank you. Just like Alice, you need it. I'm just gonna get it for you. Kind soul, appreciate it. I don't know if all of you realize this, but what I do for a living is I teach large groups of people.
I think the biggest thing for me is I've been trying to figure out what to use to either Google Meets or Zoom. But what I'm finding out is that I was fortunate enough to bring my document camera home for some kids. But what I was finding out is that in Zoom, I can change the mirroring effect. So I can actually read my handwriting or have that appear. And I can't do that with Meets.
I mean, Captain Obvious says one's a free product, one I have to pay for. So
yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. They're both good. I use Hangouts. Hangouts is my default for chatting with people all the time. And the way to do Hangouts is calendar. So you're gonna, if you're using Google Classroom, you click on the Google Classroom or the Google Calendar icon from Classroom. Otherwise, just go straight to calendar. Double check when you post to calendar that it is for that class. So I don't know about you, but I have a million of them, and it's gonna default to my personal calendar, which means the kids can't see it. So make sure it is to the class calendar. And then I just do add conferencing. And that's the best way to do it. Like I never, ever start a Hangouts by going to hangouts.google.com or meet.google. I never do that. I 100% of the time, if I want to, like, we're just chatting right now, like, hey, let's do a Hangouts meet. I'm like, cool. I go to calendar and I create a calendar appointment, even though we're doing it like right now. And then all this is just go to your calendar. That's all the words I have to use. Just go to your calendar. Okay, super. So now, because I shared it with them, obviously, they open it up, the link's right there to get into the Meet. Now, if I were to be doing this with Zoom, I would do it almost the same way, except a lot more steps. I'd have to go into Zoom and do the whole thing to set it up, get the link for that meeting. I'd have to go over to calendar, create the calendar, make sure it's on the right calendar, and I would paste the Zoom information into the description. So then when it's time for the meeting, the kids would go to Google Calendar and they'll either be clicking on the Meets icon or the link for Zoom. For them, it doesn't really matter, does it? So I don't care. I think they're both good. They're both good. But if you're gonna ask me which one's better, this is a professional product. That's that. And you don't need to spend money. You don't need to. Okay, anybody else? Yeah, Sharon, Zoom has a way to increase the attendees to 500 because you pay them money. Zoom has the ability to do webinars and Hangouts doesn't because I pay them money. So you can do all these things if you give them money. Sure. I'm not recommending that you do that. I mean, you want to. Thanks, Sharon. All right, you guys. I'm gonna go eat some lunch. I've literally eaten nothing today and it's 1 o'clock. Thank you, Paul. I hope you love it. Paul's got my math book. And tomorrow my pre-orders come out for stepping up to Google Classroom. Bam. Shameless self-promotion. Thanks, you guys. I'm gonna end everything. Stop the recording. Stop the YouTube live